Hello everyone, I am Vishakha and you're watching the Unfiltered series where we call in the principals of various renowned institutes and try to have a candid conversation over various topics related to the field of education. And today we have with us Ma'am Kamal Rathore, Principal, Tagore International School, Jaipur. Welcome ma'am, we are so glad to have you on the show.
Good morning, Vishakha, and thank you so much for such a warm welcome.
It's a privilege, ma'am. So, ma'am, today we decided to talk about importance of education in India. So, ma'am, to begin with, in India, just 11% of the children finishing school joins a college, whereas in the US, this figure amounts to a whooping 83%. What do you think could be the major reason for that?
Very good question, Vishakha. See, Indian education system is one of the largest in the world, but it is more marks oriented than skills. As students, they study only to score marks or crack examinations like IIT, NEET exam, CLAT exam, etc. Second thing, that entry into good colleges that have high percentage, so to genius level. And I think this might be the reason.
Okay. Uh, so, ma'am, basically you talked about skill development and you talked about that how marks, have more weightage as compared to the being the knowledgeable part. Ma'am, do you think that this is because of lack of good institutions or because the lack of good institutions has seen cut-off percentages for entry into good colleges sour to almost impossible levels? So at Delhi's SRCC college, this percentage was as high as 98.75. Don't you think that this has created an undue pressure to do well in the secondary board exams, because of which the suicidal tendency has also grown alarmingly?
Definitely, Vishakha, there is an undue pressure on the students to score good marks in class 12th examination.
Yes.
And no doubt, the students, they study only to score marks in these days.
Yes.
And knowledge, no doubt, in these days, marks plays very important role in their life. And when a student doesn't get admission in any good college or doesn't fare out his parents' expectations, he feels distressed. And those students who are emotionally weak, they take up this suicide attempt, and it's very sad, very sad.
Yes, ma'am. So as a principal, ma'am, do you think there's something that could be done in order to prevent this, or something that can be told to children to make them understand that this is not the way out?
Yes, because for that I believe that proper counseling should be there. So teachers and the counselors, and I believe that parents, they do counseling, for their children, that this is not the end of their life.
Yes.
Okay, marks are not important. Life is important. And for that, I think colleges and the schools, everybody, we have to work hard so that the students, they realize that life is important.
Right. So, ma'am, now moving on to my next question. Do you think that due to the poor quality of education, Indian students succumb to the pressure of pursuing their higher studies degrees from abroad? And ironically, renowned institutes offer jobs to candidates with degrees from abroad over homeschooled candidates. Does this not question about the lacunae in our education system?
Yes, Vishakha, nowadays, our Indian students, they want to go for higher studies to abroad. I think there are two or three reasons. First reason, the admission process is relatively simpler. And the second one, there is a variety of courses, ample of courses are there. Third, very important thing, our education system emphasizes on rote learning remember concepts rather than understanding them. In contrast, schools in abroad, they engage students in actual learning through classrooms, through practical learning, uh, through dialogue exchange, through case studies,
Yes.
and no doubt, if Indian job market appreciate a degree from abroad, that is ironical, and no doubt that shows a gap in education system.
Yes.
For that, I believe that our education system needs changes.
True. And ma'am, do you think that NEP is going to change anything about the prevailing education system?
Definitely, definitely, Vishakha, that national education policy is a very good and welcome step from the government. And let's cross our fingers because it emphasizes on critical thinking, problem solving, uh, innovative ideas, and the students will be engaged in practical learning, and that is important.
So, as a person who has been a part of teaching fraternity from so many years, you see this as a welcoming change. Do you think it's going to be able to curb the drawbacks, ma'am? The NEP is going to curb the drawbacks of our education system, and it's going to be more about being knowledgeable than just having the bookish knowledge.
See, NEP consists of three important components. First, knowledge. Second, ability. And third one is skills.
Right.
To live a beautiful life or successful life, these three ingredients are important. Knowledge, ability, and skills. And hopefully, this new education policy will fulfill all these three components.
Well, let's just hope for the same, ma'am. Our fingers are crossed.
Yes. Let's cross our fingers. Definitely, we will see beautiful generation in the coming year.
Absolutely, absolutely, ma'am. Uh, Coming to my next question, ma'am, I also believe that owing to poor quality of education at home, Indian students again now spend no less than $7,000 million to go abroad and study in foreign universities. And still, the government is adamant over its peculiar stance of not permitting foreign universities to set up shop in India. Don't you think this way we are snatching the opportunity of quality education from some really bright young minds?
See, Vishakha, education is the right of every child.
Yes.
Okay, and if government allows foreign universities to set up their shop in India, hopefully few good, you know, intelligent students, they will get an opportunity to complete their education from their nation only. And I believe that, after completing their education, might be they will not go abroad and they will be remain there in their nation to serve our country. So it would be a good step if government give permission to foreign universities to set up shops in India. And I appreciate this.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. So we have got one vote for that. Moving on to my next question, ma'am. Uh, Again, coming to the pressure part, a student commits suicide per hour in India because of no emotional support from school. CBSE question papers leak and the fate of children is uncertain. Students' voices are suppressed and the truth is concealed. The schools, colleges, and institutes are churning out millions of educated, mostly are incapable and mediocre. Has education in India just zeroed down to procuring a meaningless certificate?
Vishakha, school, colleges, and institutes, they have to work hard on producing quality and capable candidates. Okay, because We Indians, the education system, we believe in scoring marks. And again, it's a rat race. So I believe that everybody has to work hard on producing quality education. And hopefully, national education policy brings change in this because it is about problem solving, critical thinking, how to be innovative, how to be more creative, and how to adapt changes in our life. So I believe that after implementing national education policy, the scenario definitely will change.
So, ma'am, do you think that after NEP, we will see youngsters with actual degrees which holds credibility? Because right now, ma'am, there are millions of youngsters on the street with certificates and degrees that hold no credibility. Isn't that in itself a proof that schools, colleges, and institutes are churning out millions of educated, which are simply mediocre? Because even after having such qualified individuals, having such jobs, having the most amazing packages in the corporate world, and after this pandemic, all those people are mostly sitting jobless at home.
See, just attaining those degrees and certificates who have no value, I think that education is exercising futility.
Yes.
Education means knowledge, not to score marks. So, as I told you, we have to change our mindset. Okay, if a child gets good percentage, it doesn't mean that child is an intelligent.
True.
Okay, so the soul is knowledge.
Right.
So every education institute has to work upon quality.
Right.
So when we work upon quality, then automatically, the skill will come out.
True.
And then there would be no use of this mark sheets and certificates that have no value in the market.
Yes.
Even see, in corporate also, if a child does graduation or post graduation from abroad, our Indian job market appreciate that degree. Reason, because even we know that corporate, they know that those students, their practical knowledge is better than home based education system. So need not to worry, we have to be very positive, and definitely this new education policy bring change in our nation.
Ma'am, taking this point further, there is a famous saying, there are no bad students, just bad teachers. And now we see heavily underpaid professors or teachers in the business. Bright minds stay away from this career. Professors don't show much zeal for teaching. They just go through the motions. Do you think this is also affecting the quality of education in India?
See, Vishakha, the need is to educate the educators. Very important. Because there are two types of teachers. One by chance and another by choice.
Yes.
Those who have become by choice, it shows that that was their childhood dream to become a teacher. Okay, and they give 100% of their energy, their passion.
Yes.
And those who have become by chance, we are finding lack of zeal, lack of spark in their teaching, and no doubt it reflects in our education system. Because if a teacher has spark, so automatically we can see that spark in students also. And if a teacher doesn't have that spark or that zeal, that passion, it affects students also. And again, I appreciate that new education policy, because there they want really passionate teachers.
Yes.
It is not everybody's cup of tea to just go and give B.Ed examination and then become teacher.
Of
I
course.
think it should be really difficult. Entrance examination should be very difficult, like the entrance of medical, entrance of engineer, so that only cream minds, those who really want to become a teacher, they should go for this teaching profession. And no doubt, we will see changes in the coming years when the teachers are dedicated, full of energy, full of spark, full of zeal, because then after years, it will reflect in our students.
Absolutely, absolutely, ma'am. Ma'am, as a principal of such a renowned institute, you must have taken several interviews over the years. So, what qualities do you seek in a teacher, ma'am?
Passionate. First of all, passionate. That person, that candidate should be passionate. Okay. And the second thing is that person should be a good human. That is very important. See, if our character, if we are a good human being, so then we will, see the things very minutely. Okay, and that then it should not be formality. It should be, we can say, ki honesty should be there. So if a person is good human being, we can see honesty in that person, and then automatically it will reflect in his or her teaching. So I see always passion. Person should be honest, and no doubt subject knowledge is important.
Right. Thank you for these wonderful points, ma'am. I'm sure all the teachers will be looking this, must be taking pointers of how to prepare for the interviews. So just one last question to you, ma'am. Indian government has always emphasized on skill development programs in school. But as you said, we still see preference for good marks or grades over being knowledgeable. What do you have to say about that, ma'am? Do you think we will be able to change that notion in the coming years?
Vishakha, I'm a very positive person. And I know that major problem of our education system is that we consider marks as a reflection of intelligence of a student, not knowledge.
Yes.
Our students, they study only to get marks. They study to memorize the content, not knowing that content. And it is absolutely wrong, because knowledge will stay forever and marks will fade out, over a period of time. And knowledge gives understanding, experience, and confidence. And knowledge should be the essence of life. That should be the soul of a life. After a period of time, marks will, they don't define, marks will never define who are you, from where you are, what you are doing. It is ultimately knowledge. Knowledge defines personality of a person, and it should not be stopped. Means the learning should not be stopped. And everybody has to learn for the joy of learning. That should be the beauty of life. I do this.
And with this, we come to an end of yet an amazing session with none other than Ma'am Kamal Rathore, Principal, Tagore International School. Ma'am, thank you so very much for giving us your valuable time, for agreeing on doing this, and for sharing such wonderful thoughts and ideas on today's topic. It was an absolute pleasure having you with us, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vishakha, for giving me an opportunity. And I must compliment you that you have asked really brilliant questions. And it shows that, this generation is really working critically and creatively. And thank you so much for inviting me on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words, ma'am. Thank you. Will eternally be grateful. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And guys, I just want to tell you that Some says education is the process of gaining information about the surrounding world, while knowledge is something very different. They are right. But then again, information cannot be converted into knowledge without education. It is not just about lessons in textbooks, it is about the lessons of life. And with this thought, I would like to end today's video. If you liked the video and want to see more such content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.